I think the government has taken off. At least in the past 4 weeks, since the last 4 weeks when we, peaked with these agitations, I think they've taken off. I mean, when they came to ask us for evidence and we took them to the evidence and we showed them, I think indeed, it looks as if they were waiting for the evidence. And now everybody across the country is sending them evidence. People are taking pictures of railway lines. People are showing pictures of pipe-borne water. Like, the entire country is now woke, against Galamsey. And the pressure on them is pressure that they themselves bought. Like, they paid for it. This is not pressure that somebody somewhere at ChannelOne is bringing. They paid. Because this is pressure that they themselves cooked when they were in opposition. And the people are simply serving it to them, except that it's really hot. And they are hoping that it cools down before they eat it. But no, there's no time. You see, Galamsey is a big threat. Today in Ghana, there's nothing threatening the survival of this country than Galamsey. And the impact has tripled. The Galamsey situation has worsened in the past 9 months. And it is one of the reasons why people are alarmed, especially when people had so much hope that this is a government that was coming to change the course of the fight against Galamsey, and they don't see that. That's why people are agitating. And I beg Wanda to accept that is the only reason why people are probably mounting fire, because you raise their hopes to a certain point, and they had a certain confidence that you're going to do something extraordinary different from what the Akufo-Addo government was doing, which you were always criticizing. So if they are not seeing that, they will complain. And that, for me, is something that they need to admit. You see, every day he talks about Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. I never believed in that report. But since he has believed in it, I am saying that let's work with it. Professor Frimpong Boateng's report told us, and today it's manifesting as to why Galamsey has worsened in 9 months. On page 13 is there. The report clearly indicated, yes, it's there, it's in the report. Page 13 clearly indicated that there are more NDC people in illegal mining than any other. It's there, like verbatim, black and white. No matter the context, that is what it said. What it means is that if today we are seeing Galamsey escalated in 9 months, probably that report gave us an indication. Now, what government needs to do is to stop excuses and stop asking for time, because nobody has time. Look at the screen. Nobody has time. The situation is there. And you made specific promises to the people. At least implement those promises. Let them not work. The people who are actually admit that you have made an effort. But in a situation where you've not done even the things that you said you would do, people will talk. And for me, that's something that they have to, And I keep saying that the NDC, they've boxed themselves into a corner where now they themselves are crying and asking us to pardon them. And that's where the contradiction came in. You see, Wanda makes a point which I've always agreed with him. I have always wondered the logic in anybody using licenses as a reason for illegal mining. I have never, it's one of the most illogical conversation, illogical talk anybody will make. That the fact that there is a regulatory regime, the fact that there are licenses being issued rather, is what engendered illegality. That those who are perpetrating the illegality came to queue for a license. And then they got the license to go and perpetrate the illegality. But that's a debate, an argument they themselves brought up. They are the proponents of that argument. So when I hear him today making that same argument that when people are talking about repeal of the LI, he's wondering, because is it the case that the license is what led them? I agree with him. And that's what I've been saying from day one. He's only realizing it today because they are failing to fulfill their own promise. That's what I meant by the contradiction. Because we didn't bring it up. It is his party who said that Nana Akufo-Addo's government had issued out licenses. And that is why there is illegality. There is Galamsey. So when they come, within the first 120 days, they will repeal the law. So when I even hear the Lands and Natural Resources Minister talk about, we've identified some 250 licenses and revoke, I said no. Revoke all licenses. Cancel all licenses. Terminate all licenses. That for me should be the first stop, the first start. Because you are a believer in the principle that licenses engenders Galamsey, illegality. So if you are a believer in that, then you can't terminate some. Terminate all small-scale licenses. Because I disagreed with you, and I still disagree, but you believe in it. So do what you believe in. But you can't get power. And then all of a sudden, you turn around to come and believe in what I have always believed in and you have disagreed with me on. Are you following my argument?
Yeah.
So that for me is a worry. And that is why in their social contract, they put it there that they were going to ban it. In fact, they said they were going to ban all forms of small-scale mining in the first 120 days. And people actually thought it was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they thought that if you ban it, then you have control. Because then if anybody is mining, whether legal, illegal, you know that you're not supposed to be there. But I disagreed with them when they were pushing that in September 2024. And the reason why I disagreed was because this country had tried it between April 2017 to 17 December 2018.
There was a ban for 2 years.
For 2 years, 20 months, almost 2 years. And our water bodies were actually clean. Then the media coalition and the CSO said, well, it's time for us to put certain things in place and lift the ban. The ban was lifted. 2 years down the line, the illegality started again. So again, any fair-minded person will tell you that that approach is not a sustainable approach. A ban on small-scale mining is not a sustainable approach in dealing with Galamsey because it had been done before.
Perhaps where we failed is the processes leading to the lifting of the ban.
That is where I disagree with them on ban small-scale mining in September 2024. And I still insist that banning small-scale mining is not a sustainable approach. It is only a stopgap system, which we did before, that you use that to take control and then you can take, necessary action. So I disagree, but they agreed. So if you agreed at the time, you pushed for it, I disagreed, you actually went ahead to put it in your social contract. When you come to power, Dana, the people are simply asking you to implement it. Are you seeing what I am saying? Yeah. And that is where, when today people say implement it, and you go and pick Miracle's voice, where he said he disagreed with ban on small-scale mining, you are wrong. I still disagree, because I don't think it's a smart approach. Something we have tried before that it didn't work. You can't come and show us that as a scorecard. But you believed in that approach. I am glad that finally Chairman Woon to me is having his day in court. For me, I think that is how we should run our society. That anybody we find foul against the law, we should take the person to the court. Let the person go through the court system before we try to drag the person. You understand? And so Chairman Woon to me has a responsibility to prove to the entire country that he is not engaged in Galamsey. Because Akonta Mining, as we all know, is a licensed small-scale mining company. Is he engaged in Galamsey? Let the court determine that. But once again, Chairman Woon to me's prosecution and persecution actually brings up a very important point. That is, for the entire period the NDC were in opposition, they created an impression. You see, I don't know why the NDC, they keep boxing themselves into corners where nobody has asked them to. They have always created an impression as if Chairman Woon to me is the one doing Galamsey. So today, as Chairman Woon to me is in court, do you know what the expectation of Ghanaians are? We shouldn't see Galamsey going on. If Galamsey is going on, who is the other campaign? Who are they? Who are the other campaigns? Who are the other people? Why are they not in court with Chairman Woon to me? Your cameras have captured the NDC chairman in Upper Denchira East, fighting military men, plainly doing Galamsey. Why is he not in court? The Awin Traditional Council has written a petition to the president about the NDC MP for Awin. Why is he not in court with Chairman Woon to me? But Wanda made a very important point that I want to highlight. Maybe when you finish, you cut as well for him as government view. For the people to hear that Wanda made a point, and that is the thinking of the NDC, that, well, even if our people are mining, it's okay. We are in government. When we leave and you also come, you also have the right to prosecute them. You understand what I'm saying? No problem. That's a fair point. But the people are the ones who suffer. Because today, MPP is not in power. Who are those doing Galamsey? Because I say arrest them all. I say put them behind bars. But why are they? In 9 months, you have actually, in your view, allegedly gotten one kingpin. And yet we are the Galamsey tripling in terms of its devastating effect. Who are the people? Because you said that once MPP is voted out of power, and the government communication minister said it, once MPP is voted out of power, Galamsey would end. Because it is Akufo-Addo and his people who are doing Galamsey. Guess what? Today Galamsey is in Boli. Today Galamsey is on a black voter. Places where they have never seen gold or seen mining are having devastated impact on their water from Galamsey. Yeah. And nobody actually asked you, as a political party, to make all those promises, which some of them you made it within timelines. and you are being asked to implement, and you are saying that they should take their time. You see, I have never believed that the LI 2462 is the reason why there is Galamsey. I don't know who even advised the NDC to come up with that. Because the fact that you have given people licenses or not giving them licenses is not the reason why they are perpetuating illegality. Because those who are doing the illegality, they could be holding licenses and could also not be holding licenses. So who even told them to box themselves? But again, that was propaganda. That was they using that to reinforce the fact that Nana Akufo-Addo is the one behind Galamsey, because he passed a certain law to demarcate certain parts of the forest reserves for controlled mining. And that is the reason why we have Galamsey. And now they are struggling with that. They are struggling because they don't know what to do. The gold is at $4,000 per ounce. Their entire strategy is hinged on gold. They need the gold badly. They cannot get the quantity of gold they need to run their programs from the large-scale mining companies. Small-scale mining is also known to have 90 to 95% of them being illegal mining. The small-scale mining, 90 to 95% being illegal mining. So you see, if the government decides to go frontal against illegal mining, they will lose. The government is at a crossroad. They fight Galamsey, they lose. They don't fight Galamsey, they lose. Because the president stood on TV and told us that 60%, about 60%, 4 billion out of the $6 billion worth of gold they've exported is highly likely coming from these illegal sources. But he said that, well, whether it is illegal or legal, it's our money. And so it's okay, we can spend it. That's what he said. It's our environment that they are destroying. Whether it is legal or illegal, it is our money. It would have gone into private pockets. And so if it's coming to government, that is the first way of dealing with the situation. These are the president's words. These are we all watch the video.
Not verbatim.
Yes, but these are his words. We all watch the video. Now, the point here is this. The government is aware that if they stop illegal mining, they will not get the money they are looking for. And so they are dilly-dallying with the situation.
I think their economic plan is hinged on
not just the economic plan, their entire plan, the big push. Where do you think they are getting the money from? The big push, where do you think they are going to get the money from?
But they said oil proceeds.
Which oil proceeds? Which oil proceeds? Go and look at what is happening in the gold sector and look at what is happening in the oil sector and tell me where they are going to get the money from. You see, this is a government that came into office and straight away, because of propaganda, dug a big hole into their revenue, basket. And by the time they realized they were running 50 to 30 billion thereabouts in terms of revenue shortfalls, they need to plug it. We are in a big situation, big trouble. And my advice to this government is that it is okay. You can simply step back and tell the country that, listen, this is what I thought. But having come into office, this is what the actual situation is. And so this is how we are going to do it. But if you are doing the same things that you came to meet, all the things you are doing now that they say we should clap for them, they were there as of 7 January. All the military people. And you know what even breaks my heart? These are things that the president spoke against. There's a video where the president said it is not wise to be going after these small boys in the pit that go after kingpins. 9 months, you have one alleged kingpin. And you are showing us 1,000 small boys. And that for you is the evidence of you fighting Galamsey. Jesus Christ. Nana, I beg the NDC government. I have seen it with my eyes. The Galamsey that we are talking about, the River Pra and the Ofin River, it is not being destroyed in the forest reserves. It is being destroyed on the highway by the roadside. Go to Chifopraso. It is right there by the roadside. When you are standing on the road, you can see them with the chamfans and the excavators. They shouldn't gaslight us.
Bro.
The Dunkwa Onofin, where they are doing the Galamsey, I saw 5 excavators mining there when I was standing there. It is right by the roadside, and guess what? Where the excavators are doing the mining inside the river, there's a police post right there by the roadside.
Right, Dennis. Right, thank you. Engineer, your final take on